Hello everyone and welcome to today's tutorial. Today we're going to be looking at how to crochet a variation of the iris stitch. This little stitch is just a 1-row repeat and it's completely reversible. It's worked in any multiple of 3 plus 2 plus 2. Today I'll be starting with 25 chains and using a 4mm hook with a DK or a 3-weight yarn, but you can use any yarn you wish with the corresponding hook size. And of course you can start with any length of chains you prefer, so long as you stick to the recommended multiples. I'll be working 11 rows in total because I'll be making a small sample square. And if you'd like to stay with me to the end of the video, just at the end, I'll show you how I work a really simple 1-row single crochet border to frame the square. So let's begin. Beginning with any multiple of 3 plus 2 plus 2, I'm starting with 25 chains. Skip 1, 2, 3, 4. In the 5th chain from your hook, yarn over, insert your hook under the top loop, yarn over and pull through a loop, then yarn over and pull through 2. That gives us an incomplete double crochet. Work another incomplete double crochet into the same chain. You should have 2 incomplete double crochets and 3 loops on your hook. Yarn over, pull through all 3 loops and close. Next, chain 1, work another incomplete double crochet into the same chain and another incomplete double crochet into the same chain. Then yarn over and pull through all 3 to complete your first iris stitch variation. So really what we've done here is double crochet 2 together, chain 1 and then worked 2 double crochets together. Next, skip 2 chains, 1, 2, and double crochet 2 together in the next chain. So there's our incomplete double crochet, another incomplete double crochet, yarn over, pull through all 3 loops to give us our double crochet 2 together, chain 1 and work another double crochet 2 together in the same chain. Then yarn over, pull through all 3 loops, and that gives us our second little iris stitch variation. So we'll do one more together, skip 1, 2 chains, double crochet 2 together in the next chain, chain 1 and double crochet 2 together in the same chain. So go ahead, continue with this sequence to the last 2 chains. So here we are at the end of row 1 with our 2 chains remaining. Yarn over, skip this chain just here, and into your last chain work a double crochet to complete row 1. This is how it's looking. For row 2, chain 2, the chain 2 will count as a double crochet. Turn, and now we're going to work into the spaces between the stitches, the iris stitches. So yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull up a loop, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, insert your hook, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through 2, yarn over, pull through 3 to complete your double crochet or 2 double crochets together. Chain 1, double crochet 2 together into the same space. And continue in each space, chain space, working double crochet 2 together and a chain 1. We've been joined by my little cat. So you continue this all the way to the end, and I'll meet you there in a few minutes. This is how it's looking. So here we are at the end of row 2. I've just done the last stitch in here. We need to work a double crochet into the top of these chains just to the left. And that completes row 2. We start row 2 exactly the same way as we did we start row 3 the same way as we did row 2. So chain 2 to count as your first double crochet, and then work into the chain spaces, double crochet 2 together, chain 1 and double crochet 2 together. And again into your next space, if my little cat permits, double crochet 2 together, chain 1 and double crochet 2 together, and repeat this to the end. Have a look, this is how it's looking. So we've reached the end of row 3. You can see your 2 chains, which we said counts as a double crochet there. So just work into the second chain. So work a double crochet into that second chain to complete row 3. So you just complete or repeat row 2 for however long you would like your work to be. I'm going to work a total of 11 rows, so we can now have a little square and work a single crochet row around it. So once you've completed however many rows you'd like your project to be, you can either start by working your single crochet border in the corner, or if you prefer, like I do, you can fasten off and then join in your yarn anywhere along the top. So I'm going to choose this little stitch just here, join in my yarn. Do this however you normally do. And then we're going to work single crochets to the corner. So that was into this stitch, go into the space, the 1 chain space, into your next stitch, to the next stitch, into the chain space, into the next stitch, and now we're at a corner, so we can go straight in there and work our 3 single crochets. And then working down the side, we just need to pop evenly spaced single crochets down the side. I do try to go under 2 loops where I can. And I'm aiming for 2 single crochets at the end of each row. So hopefully this will work out quite well. And then we'll put our final single crochet in the bottom foundation chain. That should give us a total of 23 single crochets down the side. So go ahead, just work your single crochets down the side, and I'll meet you at the bottom left hand corner. Just have a quick look. So I'm now at the bottom, it's actually the bottom left corner. So we can just work straight in here with our 3 single crochets. 1, 2, and 3. And as we work into our foundation chain straight away with our stitches, if you look here, that will be a good place to put your second single crochet, then into the space there, going under 2 loops of the foundation chain and into the next one along, to the next one, then into the space, to the next stitch, trying to go under 2 loops, and you should end up with 23 single crochets by the time you reach your next corner. So go ahead and I'll meet you in a few moments. So we're almost now at the end of the base, so this will be the bottom right corner. So I'm going to try and get under 2 loops just here. There we go. Cast, split. And then into our corner with 3 single crochets. Now we're ready to work up the right side. So once again, trying to work 2 single crochets into each. I think I need to go back. Let me just see. Yes, because we had a single crochet here, which would be in the base chain, and then we need 2 single crochets at the end of our first row. And then 2 single crochets again for the next row, and so on. So just working where you can, 2 single crochets at the end of each row, preferably going under a couple of chains. So this is how it's looking. Okay, so continue and I'll meet you at the top right corner in a moment. So we've reached the top right corner. This is our chain 1 space, the top of our double crochet 2 together. So the next chain or the next stitch along will be our corner stitch. Try to go under 2 and work 3 single crochets, 1, 2 and 3. And then into the top of the next stitch along the top of your work, into the chain space between the stitches, and a single crochet into each of the next 2 stitches, into the chain 1 space, and so on till you reach where you started. So I've just worked quickly along there. This is our last stitch just here. Now you could slip stitch in your first stitch and fasten off like that. I prefer to work an invisible join, so I'll just quickly show you how I do that. So you need to snip your yarn and then go ahead and just pull that yarn through the loop. Then thread your yarn onto a needle. So I've just thread my yarn off camera. Next, skip that first stitch. Insert your needle under both loops of the next stitch from front to back. This will form the front loop of your stitch. Then insert your hook underneath the back loop, and there you've got your invisible join. Now to fasten off, there are a couple of ways you can do this. I quite like to go under that back bump just there, and then you can finish off weaving in your ends however you normally do. Just don't pull it too tightly so it doesn't distort your stitches. I'm sure you've all got your own method for doing this. And that's all there is to really working your invisible join. So you can snip that now and have a look. The reason I like to work the invisible join is, especially if I'm going to be joining these little squares together at a later date, I find it much easier to be able to see a front loop and a back loop of the stitches. And I just find sometimes when I've worked slip stitches into them, it's a little more tricky to see. Right, so that's it. Thank you for watching. There's our completed little square framed with a row of single crochets. Just zoom out slightly. All set to either join or do whatever you wish with. Right, I look forward to seeing you on the next video. In the meantime, take care. Just looking a little bit there. Just pulled it slightly tight, but that's fine.